Welcome to Conversations. My name is Suresh Kochapal. We all earn to make a living and we spend what we earn. If there is some saving to be made, we need to cut down on some aspect of our living. But food is something that we don't cut down on, be the rich or the poor. We need to spend as per what we get, and that is the most important thing. The cost of food is not an issue for the well-to-do, but for the poor, it is an issue, till someone helps you out. Now, here is some good news. The average household spending on food across the country in both rural and urban areas have reduced to less than half of what it was since 1947. Imagine, for the first time after 1947, what an average household spends both in the rural and urban areas has reduced below 50%. That means if you earn, say for example, 50,000 rupees, you were spending 25,000 on food, which is broadly defined. Now that has come down more than half, and that is the most important thing. Now let's look at where the report came in. A working paper by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India, which is called EACPM, has revealed this particular trend. The paper, titled Changes in India's Food Consumption and Policy Implementation, a comprehensive analysis of household consumption expenditure survey 22-23, and of course it has taken it from 2011-12 and further said that there are significant changes unfolding in India's food consumption pattern, and that is taking place in a big way across the country. It is for the first time in modern India post-independence, as I told you, that the average household spending on food is less than half of the overall monthly spending on households, in what is a marker of significant progress. So even if you look at 50,000 and you're earning 50,000, you're saving say 10 to 15,000, but then that leaves say 30,000 for the overall expenditure, your food would have been 15,000. Now that has come down below, because food is something that we don't cut down on. That is something that we live to eat. And if you don't eat, then of course it's a question of staying alive. And the paper said this is marks a significant progress. And I also agree with that, because suddenly the households had to spend less on food, especially the bottom 20%. It is not that everything has become cheaper. No, it's not that. Because the total share of the household expenditure on food has declined substantially, as I told you, in rural and urban areas across all states and union territories without an exception. Well, while there has been a significant increase in the household's average monthly per capita expenditure across rural and urban areas and union territories, the magnitude of the rise varies across states, which is sort of expected, and regions, according to this particular paper. For example, West Bengal reported a consumption expenditure growth of 151%. Consumption growth, that is a total overall per capita spending, which means people are earning more there, between 2011-12 to 2022-23. So get it? For instance, as I said before, West Bengal reported a consumption expenditure growth of 151% between 2011-12 and 22-23. While Tamil Nadu saw growth approximately of 214%. So see the difference now, 151% when it came to West Bengal. Tamil Nadu has grown to 214% in the same period. That means people are spending more. If they are spending more, they're earning more. So the states that are earning more actually are spending more, the people in those states. Consumption expenditure, for example, in Sikkim grew by a massive 394%, the paper said. That's a huge number. And according to this paper that was presented to the Prime Minister, the consumption expenditure growth for rural household at 164% was higher than the urban households at 146. Usually the thought process is the urban households spend more because the urban people earn more. But here we are seeing that the expenditure growth in the rural areas was higher than the urban areas. Now that's a big thing. Now let's look within the food items. Of course, we need to look at the entire basket of food items. The share of expenditure on cereals, okay, to say for example, tur dal, various kind of dal have declined significantly across urban and rural areas. What happened? Where are they getting this product from? Are they getting it free? And that is what I said. The decline was more pronounced when you look at the bottom 20% of the both urban and rural, which is poor people. Obviously, there's something happening. In fact, that is what is happening. In all likelihood, this reflects the effectiveness of the government's food security policies, which provide for food grains to a large number of benefits, 80 crore people across the states of the country, with a particular focus on the vulnerable bottom 20% of the household. So the poor people are being taken care of by the free food grain, which started from the COVID time and still continues. 80 crore people out of the 140 crore population is getting free food grains, and possibly more. Owing to the falling consumption expenditure on cereals, the paper suggested that the agriculture policies will have to be tailored beyond food grains. Now that's a problem, because if you just look at food grains as such, that is a major issue, because there are many other elements. For example, what happens to sugarcane? What happens to cotton? Of course, we don't eat all that, but we don't eat cotton, but we consume it in different ways. So what happens to agriculture policies beyond food grains is something that we need to look at. For example, palm oil cultivation. That's a big one, isn't it? Even fish culture is now comes under agriculture now. So then there are various other different types. Okay. At the same time, support policies like the minimum support price, which is overwhelmingly targets the cereal procurement, will have limited impact on the welfare of the farmers. This is what the report says. Just to bring it to the point again to you, if the support of policies like minimum support price, which is asked for farmers across the country, which Rahul Gandhi himself stomped on saying, yeah, we will give it to everyone, but his own states are not giving it. States where this party is ruling is not giving it. The Modi government said there is no constitutional provision for it, and if you give MSP for everything, then the budget will go haywire. That's what will happen. But for paddy, it is being given. For certain other crops, it's being given. Haryana has announced for all crops. I don't know how they're going to manage. Okay, so if you give it for overwhelmingly target cereal procurement, MSP, then it will have a limited impact on the welfare of the farmer, because cereals is not what farmers grow more here. And that's a problem, because at one point in time, cereal prices in India went up dramatically, and the government then introduced a lot of incentives for farmers to start cultivating dal and similar products. In fact, the paper pointed out that the universal increase in the share of household expenditure on served and packaged processed food is going up. And that was a universal increase across classes, but more pronounced for the country's top 20% households, and significantly more in urban areas. So packaged food is being consumed in a big way in the urban areas, and of course significantly higher than the rural ones. So your Maggies and other things of the world are all contributing to it. Even your pre-packaged foods that are coming now, the non-vegetarian food is being packed and sold in markets. In fact, the report highlighted that while food processing is a growing industry and an important source of employment, the increasing consumption of packaged food could have a significant impact on the people's health. Yes, we all know that the packaged food is not good for health. And there have been numerous reports on this. So somewhere along the way, we need to tailor this down. We need to bring it down. In fact, the paper suggested that more research is needed to understand the impact that this may have on the nutritional outcomes, and that the policies may be required to regulate nutritional content of packaged food. There's been a call going on for a long time saying that one of the reasons why obesity increases because of packaged food, health issues because of packaged food, because a lot of preservatives are put to keep it fresh for a longer time. So there needs to be some kind of regulation of the nutritional content. The report also said that further research needs to be done on various aspects of it. In fact, the policies may be required to regulate the nutritional content. So we need to have policies, and that will promote healthier lifestyle. And that is what doctors keep saying, and even nutritionists keep saying. But let us look at what made this huge change in reduction of spending of food, particularly in the bottom 20% of the population. We said before, it had to do with something. And it had to do with something called the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, which is a scheme which is a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat to supply free food grains to the migrants. Remember the migrants who were traveling from one city to another city, or from cities to homes during COVID? And even now, the migrants travel from different cities for work, and the poor. This particular scheme was targeted at them. Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the scheme were operational from April to June 2020. And from July to November 2020, this was the peak of COVID, if you remember that. And everybody thought after COVID this would go away. But the Narendra Modi government decided no, phase 3 will be implemented now, and which was implemented from May to June 2021. Phase 4 from July to November 2021. And phase 5 from December 2021 till March 2022. Scheme still goes on. Under the scheme, the union government provides 5 kgs of free food grains per month to the poor. This is in addition to the subsidized, that is 2 or 3 rupees kilo, that is provided in the ration shop under the National Security Food Act, National Food Security Act, which is called NFSA. So you get 5 kgs and then you get subsidized at 2 or 3 rupees a kilo in the ration shops under the NFSA. For families who are covered under the public distribution scheme. So these are given to families who are covered under the public distribution scheme. The food grain amount may be variable. I mean, it can be. Now the phase 6 of it. This particular scheme, the PMGKY scheme for phase 6 was from April, that is 2022 to September 2022. And then entailed an estimated expenditure subsidy around 80,000 crores. It goes on in 2024, 23 and then 24 too. In fact, the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme, which provides for an option for all ration card holders or beneficiaries covered under the National Food Security Act 2013 for accessing the entitlements anywhere in India, has led to a good consumption growth because they can take rations from anywhere, unlike before. In fact, we will analyze more details of this report once it comes out into the public. And of course, the details are more than what is sketchy right now. This is good news for us, but let us not celebrate yet. There are still many poor in India who go hungry every day. Let's ensure that they get the feed every day. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.